size there.
What are you fishing?
So I'm fishing that bubblegum Trout Tricks worm. I got about a 3.5 foot leader. And I was fishing 3.5 colors, 159 feet back.
Okay, so Trout Tricks. We're running 4 rods today. We got one on the downrigger, one essentially top line fly out the back, and I got 2 colors or a color and a half of lead core going on a spoon over here. Essentially just trying to locate them. I really don't like fishing this many rods, but once we get a bite dialed in, hopefully we can cut down the number of rods. I think.
So, not a bad one.
I got him right here.
And
yeah, he's all right.
There's that Trout Tricks.
Clean black camera, and then I ordered.
There we go. And Pete?
Yep.
And that's the Trout Tricks again. So we're running 2 spoons and a fly, but the Trout Trick seems to be what they're hitting.
I'm not doing any favors. Oh yeah, like a spread.
Oh yeah. Okay, so we had a hit there on. It's a hoochie I'm running with. Is he still there? I'm not sure he's still there. He was on there though. I don't think I got him. Let's see. The smile blade in front of it. Ah. It's not feeling like there's anything there, buddy. Unless he's swimming with me. Sure shit is. There he is. There's the trout. He's not bad. 14 maybe, 14 inches. Touching it. Okay, so there's the rig I am using. So it's a double hook with 2 egg loops. There's a bead between. I rig hoochies for salmon like this too, obviously, but this is a small, very small hoochie. So it's got a soft bead up inside, and it's got 2 6mm hard beads in there, and then it's just your standard hoochie. And I put a smile. The other thing is, I just bought this rod as a kayak rod, because normally I'm running steelhead rods and they're fairly long. This is a kokanee rod. It's an SST kokanee rod. It's a 6 to 10 line class rod, and it's only 7 feet long, and it feels like I'm using a child's fishing pole, to be honest with you, because I'm so used to running rods, 8.6, 9.6. And then on top of that, I've got a 100 size convector line counter, and I've got this loaded with 4 colors of 15-pound lead core. So it's got a 12-pound, very short 12-pound top shot on it, and it's got a little bit of mono backing behind it, but the 4 colors pretty much takes up the whole spool. They hit it, don't they? Come on. Give me some line here. Be nice to catch a big fish on this son of a bitch. See how it feels. Last color, finally. It's a sporty little rod, I'll tell you that. And they're all about the same size, aren't they? Wow.
Just got off right there.
So the weather's kind of variable. We had early winds and they picked up during the day. So we started out running 4 rods. American Lake is a 2-rod lake. I usually don't like to run multiple rods, but we started out running 4 just so we could locate the fish. So starting on the port side of the boat, Pete was running a downrigger at about 15 feet, and he had a spoon on that, fairly bright colored silver, I believe, spoon. And then he ran a lead core at 3.5 colors on that side as well with his Trout Tricks worm, which he really likes, bright pink. Out the back, we were running a fairly drab colored fly, well behind the boat with about a 1/4 ounce just to keep it under the surface. And then I was running kind of a gold colored spoon to start with at 1.5 colors. So we had the depths covered pretty much from 15 to, almost to the surface. Water temperature was about 45 degrees, so we were pretty certain that the fish were going to be in, 15 feet or so of the surface. And once we started to dial those fish in, we buttoned up a couple of rods. We noticed that pretty much we were getting them at about 3.5 colors of lead core. I was running 4, I think he was running 3.5. And we both went to plastics. I went to a hoochie, a bright colored hoochie, and he kept running that pink Trout Tricks worm, and that's what kept catching fish all day. Multiple rods, the difficult part of that, especially when the weather was bad, is it's hard to keep the boat on a track, so it's easy to get your lines all tangled up. It's a good way to prospect for fish, but it can be pretty difficult in the conditions we had yesterday. By the time we decided to wrap up and get off the water, the winds were gusting probably 20 plus, and it was just, we couldn't keep ourselves on a troll, so we wrapped it up a little early yesterday. All in all, we did pretty well with the fishing that we did based on the conditions that we had. But that spread allowed us to locate depth, and it allowed us to locate presentations that we're working, and it seemed like the soft plastics were what they were looking for yesterday. We didn't have any hits on the spoons at all. So that's just kind of a little bit of how we go about trying to troubleshoot a little bit and figure out where the fish are and what the fish are biting on.